Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us to learn more about the two-in-one credential opportunity available to you through the Canadian Payroll Association and McMaster University. My name is Ann Dwyer. I'm a program manager with the McMaster University Centre for Continuing Education, and it's a pleasure to host today's session. Before we begin, I just want to let you know that as you have a question, please type it into the chat box area on your screen and hit enter. We will answer questions at the end of the session, but as they come to mind, please feel free to type them in and we will respond to them. I will speak to McMaster University's pathway to earning either your PCP or CPM certification. But first, today, we'll spend some time learning about the Canadian Payroll Association, its certification process, and membership benefits. And we're thrilled to have with us today Stephen Van Alstyne, President of Education with the Canadian Payroll Association. Welcome, Stephen. To get things started, let's take a minute to watch this short video.
We are the Canadian Payroll Association, the authoritative source of payroll compliance knowledge. We are your one-stop shop for professional development, payroll resources, and networking. We are the only source for professional payroll certification that can help you succeed in today's competitive business environment. Want a challenging and rewarding career that will take you where you want to go? The Canadian Payroll Association can help you get there. Professional accreditation provides you with the education to make the right decisions, the experience to know how to do it, and the access to trusted resources to find the answers you need when you need them. Getting certified will help you stand out in the crowd and take your career to the next level. Want to enjoy work-life balance and increase your earning power? Then payroll certification is the way to go. It's essential for those responsible for a Canadian payroll. It's also the best way to demonstrate your commitment, competency, and credibility to a current employer. Research shows that those who are certified can command an extra $10,000 or more in salary annually. That's a great way to take a giant leap forward with your career. The Payroll Compliance Practitioner certification delivers everything you need to keep your organization compliant and build your career in payroll. The Certified Payroll Manager certification builds on compliance knowledge and develops payroll management skills to prepare professionals to manage a payroll department. Want a certification course that fits your lifestyle? No worries. You can choose to take the Canadian Payroll Association's affordable courses your way, in class or online from home. Why are more and more organizations looking for certified payroll professionals? Payroll is complex and vital to organizations, with over 200 regulatory requirements and significant penalties for errors. That's why employers prefer certified candidates who have up-to-date payroll compliance knowledge, professionalism, and the skill set to do the job with confidence. They also value your professional credentials and the ability to overcome challenges, seize opportunities, and add value to their organization. What are the benefits of being a Canadian Payroll Association member? There are thousands of great reasons. By taking a certification course, you will become a member and be part of a growing community of over 14,000 certified payroll professionals. You will also have access to our many supportive services and valuable resources that help you stay current and compliant. Whether you're a payroll newcomer or a seasoned professional, we are here to help. The Canadian Payroll Association's professional certifications can help you fast forward your career. Don't wait. Learn more about the many benefits of getting certified. Start today at payroll.ca.
And now I'm going to turn things over to Stephen. Stephen, I didn't mean to cut you off earlier when I introduced you. So again, I'd like to welcome you to today's session and thank you very much for taking the time to review the benefits of certification with prospect students. Stephen.
Great, thank you very much, Anne. It's a pleasure to be here. I did notice that some of you are indicating that you were not able to get the video, and as some others have identified, it might be because you don't have the Flash player. So we'll make sure that that video is available on our website, that a link gets sent out to those of you that could not view it that would like to see it. It is a good kind of informative overview video about our certification and the benefits of certification. So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our Benefits of Certification information session. We are so pleased to have had a relationship with McMaster University, partnering with academic institutions of the caliber of McMaster certainly helped to elevate what we're doing with the payroll profession, and it is a great avenue for individuals to become certified and connect with a very leading academic institution. And Anne is going to talk about how you can leverage our certification program by taking it through McMaster and benefiting from the program and that added benefit of having the certification through McMaster. As Anne said, I'm Stephen Van Alstyne. I'm the Vice President of Education with the Canadian Payroll Association, have been with the association for a long time, and very proud of where we've come to with the certification and the payroll profession in general. I want to talk to you a little bit about the association. Our association has influenced the payroll compliance practices and processes of hundreds of thousands of employers since 1978. We are, and coincidentally, we just celebrated our 40th anniversary officially last week. So we're very proud of a profession that has been in place for decades now. We are considered the authoritative source of Canadian payroll knowledge, and as a result of that, we have verging on 14,000 certification holders. 10,200 are specifically payroll compliance practitioners. Another 3,300 have the PCP because the PCP is the requirement to move on to get the Certified Payroll Manager certification. So we're going to talk a little bit about that process. So the metrics are an important way to understand sort of the value and the weight that payroll has within the economy in Canada and within organizations. Canada's 1.5 million employers pay close to $1 trillion in wages and benefits on an annual basis. That's a significant contribution that they make to the Canadian economy and to the lives of everyday Canadians. $310 billion in federal and statutory remittances, a good chunk of that going to the Canada Revenue Agency, and $180 billion in health and retirement benefits, all while complying for those that have a national payroll or national scope with their payroll with over 200 federal and provincial regulatory requirements, which are a key component of the learnings within our program. So let's take a look at the size of payroll departments. And from our 2017 member census survey, we've determined that there are a lot of individuals that are a one-person payroll shop. And in some cases, these individuals are doing other things other than payroll. But in another 43% of cases, individuals work with more than one person in the payroll department, between 2 and 3 individuals. But it's when we get up to that 4 to 11 or more individuals in the payroll department where we see there being an actual more formative payroll department and the need for the potential for there to be a manager. So when you look here, there's about 25% of our certification holders are CPMs, and in fact that's about representative of the number of payroll departments in the country that require that payroll manager role. So there is a good proportion. That's not to dissuade anybody from going on to do their CPM, but you do have to make that conscious decision that the Certified Payroll Manager is something that you are wanting to do because you want to go on to manage payroll department. The learning is very different. It's more hands-on, more applicationary, more legislatively driven from the PCP perspective, and then it gets into those management principles in the CPM program, where you're learning things like decision-making processes, project management, strategic thinking, employee development, and the normal kinds of things that you would think about when you think about managing within an organization. So what are the benefits of certification? It certainly does provide individual professionalism. The mark of a professional is to have those letters which are indicative of the academic underpinning of someone's knowledge. The portability, the fact that you can utilize this certification nationally and go to any province and administer with those letters behind your name, knowing that you have the understanding and the learnings that you require to administer a payroll in any jurisdiction within the country. Certainly peer recognition. We have 20,000 members within our association, representing 43,000 payroll professionals right across the country. And so having the PCP or the CPM certification is certainly recognizable within our profession and within the payroll industry. And it definitely does provide for greater opportunities and rewards. And the way that we assess this is on an annual basis. Hayes Recruiting works with us to provide payroll salary survey information. So we worked with Hayes originally on the salary survey questionnaire, and they distribute it through their channel and in some cases to our members to determine what is the differentiating factor with those that have certification versus those that do not have certification from a salary perspective. And you can see with the various roles, and again, this also demonstrates two things. One, that certification does pay and makes a difference, but two, that there are great opportunities within payroll, not just to be someone who is actually paying employees or being an administrator. There's payroll benefits and specialist roles, payroll analyst roles, payroll manager and supervisor roles, and also payroll implementation specialist roles. So working for organizations that are providing the technology that hundreds and thousands of organizations use to administer their payroll. So having that ability to see the differentiator that certification makes certainly is a benefit to you when you're considering what you want to do from a professional perspective and how you want to leverage that. So really our goal at the association is to have those certifications, the PCP and CPM certifications, recognized by employers as the knowledge requirement for payroll practitioners. We at the association look at job posting sites such as Monster, such as Workopolis, such as LinkedIn, to look to see employers that are requiring certification, payroll certification for roles, and that is definitely on the increase. And while we're working hard to get the PCP and CPM certifications recognized specifically, you'll find that even though they might not list the certification by alpha, like by saying PCP or CPM, they're certainly asking for payroll certification or Canadian Payroll Association certification, or maybe in some cases they're going to ask for the McMaster credential, and Anne is going to talk specifically about that, and we're very excited about the opportunities our professionals have to hold dual certifications. So the professional certification model includes a number of components. It includes unique educational requirements, which are, of course, what are taken academically through, in this case, McMaster, or through different avenues of delivery. There's a work experience requirement. So most professional bodies, and I'm going to use accounting and HR as examples, we consider those influencer professionals or influencer professions. They have an experiential component. So likewise, the CPA introduced our experience requirement back in 2015. It was sort of the last step that we had to implementing that professional certification model. There's also a membership requirement. In order to hold professional membership or certification, you need to be a professional member. Certification declaration, which is once you go through all of those components of the educational requirements, work experience, maintaining membership, etc., you have to make the declaration you want to be certified and follow all of the requirements, which include adhering to a code of professional conduct and continuing professional education requirements. And our CPE, what we call CPE, continuing professional education, isn't particularly onerous. You know, it's relatively easy to maintain your CPE with new knowledge that you obtain, and there's many avenues that you can take to doing so. For example, if you're holding your PCP and you're taking the additional courses, let's say through McMaster, to obtain the CPM, so the organizational behavior management or managerial accounting, those hours, of course, are going to count for you towards your CPE. So there's great synergies in how you maintain your membership and how you continue to advance through membership. So in terms of the educational requirements for our entry-level certification of the Payroll Compliance Practitioner, there are 4 courses that are required. One can be taken, well, all of them can be taken specifically through MAC, but the introduction to accounting needs to be taken through a post-secondary institution, and McMaster has a few options that would qualify for that introduction to accounting transfer credit. As well, the courses for the payroll side of things, the 3 payroll courses, those are courses that the curriculum is governed by the Canadian Payroll Association, and our testing instruments are done through the CPA, but McMaster is one of the partners that offers our program, one of the academic affiliates that offers those programs. Payroll Compliance Legislation, Payroll Fundamentals 1, and Payroll Fundamentals 2. So these are building blocks towards the academic required for our certification. So the experience requirement is a standard requirement, as I said, for the vast majority of professional accreditation programs or designatory programs. We have what is called a weighted 1-year work experience requirement. And the work experience has to be within payroll, and it's valued or evaluated on a series of areas within payroll, from information to administration to year-end to reconciling and balancing. Again, you can go on to our website under the certification tab to look at the requirements that we adhere to in terms of assessing that experience requirement. And we require a verifier to verify that experience. Commonly, a former boss or current boss can do that. But the PCP practical experience must have been obtained either 5 years prior to or 5 years after the start date of the first core payroll course in the program. I'm going to talk a little bit about the experiential component with CPM because it's required at the front end as opposed to the back end. Individuals who've completed all of the academic requirements but are pending that completion of the assessment work experience or get their work experience classified as PCP candidates. And again, that terminology of candidacy is used in a lot of other professions while individuals get that experience requirement to fully obtain their certification. So on the side of CPM, why become CPM certified? And again, when we look at some of the criteria academically that is in the program, it covers things like management theories, payroll continuity planning, dealing with ethical issues in payroll, and that ties directly, of course, to our Code of Professional Conduct, analyzing situations and applying appropriate decision-making methodologies to those decisions, and then the principles of project management, benchmarking, and best practices, the common things that we would see managers within payroll dealing with on a day-to-day basis in the administration of their departments. As I said, with regard to the CPM, it is a prerequisite that there be the necessary payroll experience. It's not something that is required at the end to obtain the certification. So to satisfy this particular prerequisite, the student must have at least 2 years of experience being responsible for an organization's payroll function, which includes being accountable to management for the accuracy of all of the pay, statutory withholdings, and equivalent experience obtained within the past 5 years. Our educational requirements with regard to the CPM are a little more balanced because you've already got the underpinning of the payroll function through the PCP certification. So there are 2 specifically payroll-related courses that are curriculum driven by the Canadian Payroll Association, and those are Introduction to Payroll Management IPM and Applied Payroll Management APM. And we suggest, obviously in this instance, IPM is a prerequisite to APM, but the other courses might be something that you already have through a background where you've taken some kind of undergraduate degree or some kind of post-secondary education, or you can take it while you're taking the courses as well. There's no really set order to be taken, but certainly IPM must be taken before APM. So the 3 other courses, again, McMaster having all of these required courses that need to be taken in order to obtain the CPM include organizational behavior management, managerial accounting, and compensation and benefits. And I'm going to defer to Anne when she does her portion of the presentation to talk about how those courses need to be taken in order for individuals to be able to obtain both the CPM and the certification that McMaster has put in place as well. And as I say, Anne will deal with those. So the additional prerequisite for the CPM, of course, as I mentioned earlier, is the PCP certification. So individuals have to hold that practitioner level certification before they can move on, excuse me, to becoming a CPM. So the study options that exist, and I really want to focus on and emphasize the importance of what we feel is in-person or in-class learning. And this is a presentation we're doing in conjunction with McMaster. But we do have other options that exist for how you take the courses. We have Classroom, again, which we highly recommend. And we have an online delivery option that can be taken directly through the Canadian Payroll Association. But if you're looking to obtain that additional certification through McMaster, Anne is going to cover off the requirements of how much of the courses need to be taken with MAC in order for you to obtain that actual additional certificate. Because having a McMaster certificate in addition to our payroll practitioner and manager certificates is really, again, going to be something that may set you apart. So you're going to want to look to see how you can accommodate potentially both of those certifications. We have a transfer credit process for the introduction to accounting, the managerial accounting, organizational behavior, and compensation and benefits management courses that are requirements of both the PCP and CPM certifications. It is very intuitive. It is on our website. And again, most academic institutions are listed on our website through our database of transfer of credit courses. And you will find McMaster there listing those courses that we provide equivalencies for those 4 transfer of credit courses, dependent again on whether you're going to just stop with your PCP or move on and end up getting your CPM. So you can search that database of colleges and universities either by typing in the names or searching approved institutions by province. So the final step in the certification process, as I mentioned earlier, is that certification declaration. And information does end up getting emailed to candidates once they are eligible. So when they have completed all 3 of the core payroll courses, if we are just using the PCP as an example, and they've done the transfer credit for introduction to accounting, that would elicit the system sending out the requirement for individuals to get the experience or complete the WIRA application, the work experience requirement application. And then once individuals have done the WIRA and it has been accepted after reviewing the verifier's requirement to validate the individual's experience, the declaration goes out to individuals and it is submitted through our website. The ongoing requirements are that certification holders are required to maintain a membership with the CPA during the duration of their certification, holding their certification, adhering to our Code of Professional Conduct. And we unfortunately from time to time do have situations where potential breaches of our Code of Conduct are put in, and we just actually recently had 2 hearings last week of individuals who had had complaints lodged against them by former employers. So that adherence to that Code of Conduct is obviously rather critical. And then meeting the continuing professional education requirements. So we are advocates, obviously, of individuals keeping up to date. With so much legislation within payroll, it is very critical that individuals keep their knowledge up to date. If individuals don't keep their knowledge up to date, obviously that would jeopardize the organization's payroll compliance capabilities. So that's part of the reason why we have such stringent CPE requirements. Again, CPE not being unique to our association. And I also mentioned that our requirements are not particularly stringent. So we changed the model in 2018. After 2018, individuals are required to attain and declare CPE hours prior to December 31st, 2020, after which they're going to be required to attain and declare 14 hours and 21 hours respectively for CPE annually. It used to be a 3-year rolling cycle, but we've moved it to an annual cycle. And we give individuals a bit of a breather in the first year in which they obtain certification because we know that they've just come through an arduous academic process. So we give them a little bit of a breather before they have to go dive right into maintaining that knowledge. Although we do find that individuals who do our web seminars, even the free ones that we sometimes offer, or any of our PD seminars, those obviously are going to count for that CPE, and it's just a great way to keep up to date with legislation. So some of the examples of that qualifying activity include our certification, or moving on to additional certification and taking some of those required courses, our professional development and our networking activities, taking PD activities through our influencer communities of HR and accounting, any leadership, management, or other business areas of knowledge that people are gaining, reading or writing for a professional publication, including our own Dialogue magazine, implementing a new payroll software at the organization, because there's lots of learning that comes through doing something like that, contributing time as a volunteer to an organization or participating on our government advocacy or advisory committees, and any post-secondary educational courses. So just kind of winding down this section, as Anne mentioned, there are a lot of benefits in being members of our organization, and obviously some of them include having access to all of the initiatives that we work with government on from an advocacy perspective, bringing the profile of payroll to the floor, and advancing the efficiencies and effectiveness of legislation around payroll. Our payroll info line, so we have consultants here who work on a call center, or what we like to call a service center, support center, both on the phone and in email, where you can communicate on those more complex questions, or even validation that you want to make. Our Job Connect service, so once you become certified, if you're looking for an opportunity for a role within payroll, Job Connect is a great way to do that. And then some of the networking opportunities that we include through things like National Payroll Week, our conferences, our symposiums that we hold, and just network and share events that we do. Member communications, publications, and as I said, we have a lot of PD, professional development, seminars, webinars, and of course our education, which we've been spending time talking about. We do PCP and CPM recognition event on an annual basis, where we have over 2,000 attendees come out to receive their certifications at different locations around the country on an annual basis, and we invite our alumni to come out to celebrate as well. So these are always very well attended events and very exciting for new graduates who are getting their certification for the first time. This past year, we recognized some of our long-term certification holders with recognition pins as well. So we do really support our certification holders, not just through the academic process, but afterwards in terms of continuing to raise the profile of payroll within Canada. And again, we're very proud to be partnered with an institution like McMaster, who sees the value in our certification as well. So if you want more information, as I mentioned, please visit the certification tab section of our website at payroll.ca. There's lots of information there. There's lots of support that is provided here at the association through our certification coordinators. And on that note, I'm going to turn the presentation back over to Anne Dwyer, who's been a pleasure to work with. And then, as I think Anne mentioned, we will have an opportunity to have individuals ask questions either of Anne or of myself near the end of the presentation. Thank you, Anne.
Thanks very much, Stephen. And yes, we will definitely open the floor to questions at the end of the session. My presentation won't be too long, so we can open the floor and have some discussion and questions. So why choose McMaster University? I'm just going to spend a few minutes kind of reviewing the benefits of completing your studies at McMaster University and highlighting the McMaster University's pathway to payroll certification. And one of the questions that we're often asked is, well, why choose McMaster Continuing Education? There are many benefits in completing your coursework as you pursue your either PCP or CPM through McMaster University's Continuing Education Division. First and foremost, we have worked with the Canadian Payroll Association to provide students the opportunity those who are pursuing their PCP and or CPM certifications, the opportunity to not only earn their certification, but in tandem to earn a university credential. So we call it the 2-in-1 credential, and that's a huge benefit, a huge advantage in taking the courses that you would otherwise take towards your certification through McMaster University. In tandem with that, you are eligible to apply the course credits that you complete through McMaster Continuing Education towards a degree at McMaster at some future date, should you wish to pursue degree studies at McMaster University. One that cannot be understated is your course instructors. The course instructors that lead our courses are actual practitioners. So those who facilitate the in-person payroll-specific courses, by way of example, are actual payroll practitioners. So you not only have the opportunity to network with other participants who bring a variety of experiences and backgrounds to the class, but you actually get to network and learn from those who are in the field and actual payroll practitioners. So that's a huge bonus. So let's just take a look at what this means and how you can complete both your CPA certification and a McMaster University academic certificate simultaneously. I'm just going to review both programs, both the Payroll Compliance Practitioner Certificate as well as the Canadian Payroll Management Certificate. I won't go into too much detail. Stephen did cover off quite a bit in terms of the requirements on the Canadian Payroll Association side. I want to just explore with you what is needed to qualify for our academic certificates. So just as an overview, both the Payroll Compliance Practitioner Certificate and the Canadian Payroll Management Certificate consist of 5 core courses, and all courses are available in either face-to-face in-person delivery format here at McMaster University in Hamilton, as well as online through the Canadian Payroll Association or through McMaster University's online courses in the business courses. Each course, by the way, in terms of the course structure, is equal to a 3-unit or a half-year, on par with the 3-unit half-year undergraduate course at McMaster. Worth mentioning is those who are pursuing one of the payroll certificates, you can take one course at a time, you can take multiple courses, depending on your learning goals, depending on your availability, and also satisfaction of any and all posted prerequisites. Continuing education at McMaster is known for flexibility, and we want to make sure that we are offering courses that you, the learners, need in a format that works best for you. So I just want to break it down. I know Stephen certainly reviewed what the qualifications are for each of those certifications. I do want to speak again just at the course level what we offer here at McMaster University, and I'll start with the PCP certificate. So to qualify for McMaster University's Payroll Compliance Practitioner Certificate, you must complete 5 core courses, as illustrated on this slide, and they include Business Communications, Payroll Compliance Legislation, Payroll Fundamentals 1, Introductory Financial Accounting, and Payroll Fundamentals 2. You will note that the Business Communications course, that is not a required course for your PCP certification through the Canadian Payroll Association. It is a required course if you are interested in receiving our McMaster University credential. The Payroll Compliance Legislation, Payroll Fundamentals 1 and Payroll Fundamentals 2 are payroll-specific courses that we have brought in-house in order to deliver on behalf of the Canadian Payroll Association, and we have vetted those courses through our undergraduate council and are able to provide students with not only the credit necessary, again, towards the certification, but the credit needed in order to qualify for our academic certificate. So just a brief mention with regard to the CPM program. Again, it is a 5-course program, as Stephen mentioned up front. The program consists of general business courses such as your organizational behavior, your compensation, business finance accounting, or introductory management accounting course, and then 2 payroll specific, your introduction to payroll management and applied payroll management. It's important to note that students can take, if you're taking the courses here at McMaster, you can take the courses in whichever order that best suits your schedule, so long as any and all posted prerequisites are met ahead. And I will say specifically with regard to the applied payroll management, that course must be completed last. So while it is recommended that you complete the courses in the order as they appear here on the screen, you're not required to take the courses in any particular order, with the exception of the applied payroll management, which is a final course. Just a quick overview of our admission requirements and prerequisites. And again, these are the McMaster Continuing Education prerequisites and admission requirements. Our programming is open enrollment. However, there are admission requirements that must be met prior to enrollment. Both the certificates, they don't require a formal application process, but you must ensure that you meet these requirements. More specifically, learners must have an Ontario Secondary School diploma or equivalent, or be deemed a mature student as defined in the undergraduate calendar of McMaster University. It's important to note that if your first language is not English, you must meet the university's English language proficiency requirements. And for anyone who has any questions specific to the admission requirements, the academic admission requirements, I'm happy to address those either in the question period or offline. In addition to the academic entrance requirements, there are payroll-specific prerequisites, and Stephen did mention these earlier in the presentation, so I won't go into too much detail, just to highlight them again. For the Payroll Compliance Practitioner, learners pursuing the the CP certification must have at least 1 year of weighted payroll experience, obtained within 5 years before or 5 years after the start of the payroll compliance legislation course, and those pursuing the Certified Payroll Manager certification, as well as our certificate at McMaster University, you must be a certified Canadian Payroll Compliance Practitioner, hold your PCP certification in order to take the CPM program here at McMaster University. In addition, you must have at least 2 years of experience with responsibility for an organization's payroll function. I just want to review again the delivery formats available to you as learners at McMaster University. So if you plan to take courses, be it a course, be it the entire programming through McMaster University's Continuing Education, our programming flexibility and really is designed to tailor to meet your specific needs. So courses offered under our payroll, our PCP, and the CPM certificates are available in both in-person or face-to-face on a part-time or accelerated format. And our courses are also available online self-study. And learners can choose the format that best suits their needs, preferences, and schedule. Our courses are offered throughout the year, so again, quite flexible. You can kind of step into the program at various times throughout the year. We offer courses in the fall, winter, spring, summer terms. In our next semester, we'll be starting in early January. We will be offering both face-to-face in-person courses as well as online course studies. I will apologize too if my voice cuts out. I have a cold and I'm not sure my voice is that strong, so hopefully you can hear me. I do want to touch upon, this is a very important element that I don't feel can be understated, our transfer credit. So we do have an arrangement with the Canadian Payroll Association. We've partnered with them to bring these programs here to McMaster University and to provide students with the opportunity of, again, having that dual credential. As part of that partnership, McMaster University has provided a greater transfer credit, if you will, coming into our program. So specifically, and I'll speak to the PCP certificate first, those who are pursuing their PCP certification, those who are actually looking to graduate with a McMaster University Payroll Compliance Practitioner certificate, you have two options for transfer credit, because we certainly recognize that you may be studying courses elsewhere. So this is an either-or situation. So option A, if you've completed or plan to complete Payroll Compliance Legislation and or Payroll Fundamentals 1 and or Payroll Fundamentals 2 online directly through the Canadian Payroll Association, you may be eligible to actually bring all three of those courses into your certificate here at McMaster University. So that reduces your course load from 5 down to 2. I do need to stress, though, that again, this is the online component, and the courses must be, if you do plan to complete the certificate online and take payroll-specific courses online, it has to be done directly through the Canadian Payroll Association. We will not allow a transfer credit in if you complete, by way of example, the payroll compliance legislation in person at Athabasca University, just by way of example. It has nothing to do with the course. It has to do with our partnership and arrangement with the Canadian Payroll Association. So that's option A. You can take those 3 payroll-specific courses directly through the Canadian Payroll Association and apply them into your program of study here at McMaster University. Option B is, if you've completed, and this sometimes is a better fit for students who are taking the programming in person, if you plan to complete the 3 payroll-specific courses directly here at McMaster University in person, but you've completed some business courses outside of McMaster University's continuing education, such as your business communication or your introductory financial accounting, you can actually apply to have one of those courses brought in to McMaster's certificate. So again, it's an either-or situation, and I will speak to the potential course substitution in just a moment. So similar to the transfer credit options available for PCP certificate here at McMaster, the same applies for your CPM certificate. So if you're looking to complete the McMaster University Certificate in Canadian Payroll Management, you have 2 options by way of transfer credit. If you've completed you can either complete, or if you have completed your Introduction to Payroll Management and or Applied Payroll Management directly online through the Canadian Payroll Association, you may be eligible to apply both of those courses into your program of study here at McMaster University. Alternatively, if you plan to take those 2 courses directly through McMaster University through our in-person delivery, you do have an option of transferring in 1 transfer credit from an outside institution, be that a university or college, for coursework completed in management accounting, compensation, or organizational behavior that has been deemed equivalent to our coursework. I will just speak briefly with regard to the potential for course substitution consideration. We have, because there are some of you who may have already completed a course, say in person, say Introduction to Payroll Management at University of Windsor, just by way of example. Again, that wouldn't necessarily be eligible to bring into our program, but we do recognize that you've completed that work. So in some situations, we may allow for and be able to accommodate a course substitution. And by that I mean we would allow you to choose a course with one of our business programs and substitute that in place of the payroll-specific course that you may have taken elsewhere. If you have any questions around the course substitution, please connect with me. It can be a bit convoluted, but again, we do want to be fair to students who have completed coursework elsewhere. However, we are working within a very specified permissible number of transfer credits that come into the program depending on where you've completed the program. And as our partnership is with the Canadian Payroll Association, the payroll-specific courses have to be completed either directly through the Canadian Payroll Association or directly through McMaster University's Continuing Education. And I'm just going to jump further for a second. Those are the kind of big points that I wanted to raise. I do want to, before we move on to questions, I do want to show you and just speak briefly to our enrollment process. To enroll in the programming here at McMaster University and to enroll in any of the business courses, it's fairly straightforward. As I mentioned, it is an open enrollment program. You register in the program at time of course registration. For the payroll-specific courses, if you plan to take those courses in person here at McMaster University, I need to point out that it is a dual registration process. So by way of example, if you're registering for the Payroll Fundamentals 1, you will register both with McMaster University. You will also be required to register with the Canadian Payroll Association. Okay, that is explained in detail on our website, and again, happy to walk through that if anyone has any questions. I will just show you, if you are registering with McMaster University, registration is straightforward. You register directly online through our online system. And as I mentioned earlier, our upcoming session, I just want to show you scheduling here. So this is our website here, and again, it's fairly straightforward. If you come to our website on programs, and under our business portfolio, you can click on payroll. This will provide you with a wealth of information, including program details, admission requirements, information on the Canadian Payroll Association, our various formats, and again, the requirements for each of the programs. It also includes an opportunity, if you're interested in enrolling, you merely click and it will walk you through the process. It is important to note that payment is required at time of registration, and that is, again, straightforward and explained within that process. I will show you, if you're wondering what is offered by way of upcoming courses. So this is a look at our current schedule. So in the winter, again, we have an incoming semester that starts mid-January, depending on the format. We offer courses online, we offer courses in person. So specific, by way of example, to the PCP certificate, Payroll Fundamentals is running in the winter, January 19th through April 27th. This will be a 13-week course from 9 a.m. to 12 noon on days. If you're looking to take one of the business courses, by way of example, the Introductory Financial Accounting, you have a few options. You can take that in person, or you can take that course in online self-study format. So it's fairly straightforward and explained with the system in terms of our schedule, but I did want to just quickly show that so that you have an idea. And I'm just going to flip back here. I think at this point, I will just direct you to our website should you require additional information. Again, you will receive a link to today's session. If you do have questions, you can reach out to us. Our telephone number is 905-525-9140, extension 24321, and contact information for the Canadian Payroll Association, as well as direct contacts here at McMaster, are also available on our website. Stephen, again, I'd like to thank you for taking time today to address the audience and review everything and anything about the Canadian Payroll Association and certification opportunities. And I'd also like to thank each of you for taking time out of your day today to learn a bit more about not only McMaster University, but the Canadian Payroll Association and the various certifications available.
Thanks so much.